Yeah, get your speaker. I want to talk.
Presenter talked about adapting content.
Hello, everyone. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, depending on where you are tuning in. You are welcome to today's webinar, designed especially for those who are aspiring to apply for the Commonwealth Masters and PhD scholarships, as well as the Chevening Scholarship. We will be starting shortly in just under 2 minutes. We will have to ascertain if all our speakers are available.
Back is range. You were complaining, I was like, I understand when I used to be there.
Okay, just for some housekeeping rules, please, when you join the meeting, kindly stay muted and only unmute yourself when you have been asked to do so. Thank you. Hello, is Auntie Mirel in the house? Hello, Auntie Mimi. I would definitely invite all the panelists to keep their cameras on so I can pick. Thank you, Azeni. So glad you're here. Dr. Iya Maliki, thank you for coming. You're welcome, Sir Akaba James. It's such an honor to have you here.
Thank you, Dr. Mickey. A great honor as well.
Dr. Iya Maliki, please, is it possible to have your camera on? Thank you, Kecha, for coming. Is Auntie Mira with us in any way? I'm trying to pick around. Okay, we're going to start the webinar. We are 6 minutes on top of the time we scheduled to begin the webinar. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, you're welcome to today's very special session, which has been designed specially for you, to support you, to accompany you, to showcase the roadmap to success as far as the Chevening and the Commonwealth Scholarships are concerned. Today's session is going to be driven by very passionate people who took the commitment to give back to the society. Okay. Please kindly stay muted. Before that interruption, I was saying today's session is brought to you by a group of people who are so passionate to give back to the Cameroonian society. They all were in the same position like you some years back. They took this step forward to apply either for the Chevening Scholarship or for the Commonwealth Scholarship, and they made it through. Some of them made it the first time, some of them made it the second time, the third time, and why not the fourth time? This is just coming to tell you that if you don't have it the first time, you can always have it the second time. And what we're going to be giving you today is the recipe for successful applications. With me today, I do have two very important guests in our midst. We have Sir Akaba James, who is the country director of Open Dreams Cameroon. Open Dreams is a very special organization in this scholarship journey. He will be telling us more by the time we open up the space for him to speak. Secondly, we are going to be joined by another very important guest from the British High Commission, Mrs. Mireille Job Iluga. She is the communications and Chevening officer. So all the programs for those of you that are going to succeed, from the long listing to the short listing to the interview, that is the face you are definitely going to need. Okay, now I transition to the speakers of the day. I have on the screen Mrs. Azinui Nkwa Ngum, someone I really, really respect so much, someone I've seen grow through the path of success, and today she is here to give it back to you. Azinui obtained the Chevening Scholarship in 2018 and made her way to the University of Reading, to be very specific, the School of Agriculture, Policy and Development. Azinui is back here today to say, this is the road I took, you can also take it. The second person I'll be bringing to you is no other person than Mrs. Kecha Olazo. This is one of the freshest people you can think about in the house. And what can I say about her? This is Kecha Olazo Walem, obtained the Chevening Scholarship in 2023. And she studied at the University of Nottingham. Some of you will be desiring to apply to that very important university. You have someone who is going to be speaking to you from that institution with experience from that institution. I will now transition to introduce one other person. I love him so much, Mr. Felix Fomengia. Felix Fomengia is a household name in Cameroon. A lovely guy who has just transitioned to the African Union. He had the Chevening Scholarship in 2022 and studied his master's at the University of Westminster. I also have some other person who is very important, who is now enjoying and rubbing shoulders with the World Bank. It's no other person than Eric Bonzele. He obtained the Chevening Scholarship in 2022 and attended the University of Reading, like Azenui, and attended specifically the School of Agriculture Policy and Development, like Azenui and Miki. Finally, but not the least, Dr. Iya Maliki obtained the Commonwealth Scholarship in 2020 for a master's degree program at the University of Southampton. And in 2024, Dr. Iya Maliki obtained another Commonwealth Scholarship, this time around the Commonwealth PhD Scholarship. He is now studying for his PhD at the University of Leeds. Ladies and gentlemen, I feel so honored that the people who are going to be speaking to you this evening are just the right people to accompany you through this journey. Speaking at the anchor, I am Gilbert Iki. I obtained the Chevening Scholarship in 2012. I don't know where some of you were. And I studied for a master's in international development at the University of Sheffield. In 2019, I obtained the Commonwealth PhD Scholarship, and I studied at the University of Reading, specifically at the School of Agriculture, Policy and Development, like Bomzele and Azenui. It's such an honor to be with you. This is going to be a fireside chat and not a formal presentation. You've got all the opportunity to ask questions and receive instant answers to your questions. However, as your moderator this evening, I have prepared a set of questions to ask to the panelists, and I believe that these questions are going to be quite helpful to each and every one of you. Now I will bring on stage one of our guest speakers, Sir Akaba James. You are once again welcome, sir.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mickey. I'm very grateful to be on this panel. It's the very first of its kind that we are going public with information of this nature. We've always kept very close communication within our spaces, but it's the very first day, we're speaking directly to an audience that is not, is a little bit outside the open dream spaces. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. I agree with you. This is the first time we are making this very open. We've just been so inclined to organizing open dream specific events. And today we are right open to the public. My first question to you, Sir Akaba James. We do understand that Open Dreams nominates candidates for the Commonwealth Scholarship through Harley Access Network. For the benefit of the audience we have here, could you briefly tell us who Open Dreams is, what it does, and the kind of students Open Dreams supports?
Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. McKee. Open Dreams is a U.S. nonprofit with a mission equalizing access to educational opportunities for community impact. The organization has been in operation in Cameroon for over a decade. And within that time, the organization has been, it has placed itself as the premier access organization to Cameroon. And I'm always very proud to see that the UK, the United Kingdom, has maintained a leadership position when it comes to graduate educational opportunities. For instance, the highest number of graduate scholars at Open Dreams are studying in the UK. Open Dreams being a highly organization, highly meaning high achieving, low income, we are looking for people who are exceptional. They demonstrate intellectual promise, a high degree. They're among the top 1% of their class when it comes to academic performance. There are people who hold a first degree that is, first class, or at least second class upper. People who have a distinction in academic performance, perhaps from secondary, high school, university, or people with a master's degree that they don't only talk about the master's degree they've had, people that have a lot more field achievement to report more than just academics. A little bit more about the kind of students that Open Dreams looks forward to working with. There are those people that we find them in the field. People who are not just there, for the course, for the class, for the elite class, people who go down to the communities, who go down to some of the most, enclave areas to help to uplift community, people who are development focused. And that's what is also very interesting about the UK, because most of their scholarships are development focused. And I will not stop here without saying that, Dr. McKee, when we talk of people who that Open Dreams is looking for, that looks forward to work with, or the kind of people, the kind of scholars that Open Dreams is interested in, I would not, fail to quote your legendary example. I know you're one of the very first impact graduate scholars that we came across. And what attracted us to you, you didn't need to have to reach out to this community. What attracted us to you was the incredible work you were doing all across the Southwest and Northwest in these enclave areas, and then communicating it on your social media pages. And when I think of things like fighting hepatitis, something that people kind of often overlook within the Cameroon spaces, like sometimes people grow up not knowing how grave the situation of hepatitis can be. When I think of things that may look very simple, but very far-reaching, things like the school feeding program. If you go to, I don't know what the percentages are, but a whole lot of schools in Cameroon have no formal structure for school feeding programs. I still remember this day, I actually collapsed in school when I was taking exams because I didn't have time to go home to eat, and I wanted a good performance in my exam, and I had to stay on for like 3 days drinking all the water and some little gari I could find. And I collapsed when I finished writing the exam. So when I think of the school feeding program, those things that touch on the heart of the community, things that touch on people who may have otherwise have no way to survive, those are the type of people we're looking for. People who are selfless, people who demonstrate prominence of ethical values in their leadership, people who show passion for the community, people who are interested to see an evolution in the community. For instance, when we're talking of the Commonwealth Scholarship, it's not about an individual, it's not about yourself. It's about what you can do for the people, what potential, how much impact you can create. So we can call it like an impact fellowship, an impact program. And once you are at the front line of driving these changes, this is where your passion and that of Open Dreams unite, intersect, and then there's no way than for us working together.
Thank you very much, Sir Akaba James. I feel so much humbled that as a pioneer PhD scholar from the Open Dreams community, we have continued to do what we love doing. one thing I can really cement from what Akaba James is putting across, the type of people we are looking at to embrace as nominees for the Open Dreams Scholarship, be it for the Commonwealth Masters or for the Commonwealth PhD Scholarship, is that you should be an impact visionary leader, an impact-oriented visionary leader. Those are the kind of people Open Dreams is looking for. Sir Akaba, I will come back to you again with this question. Commonwealth, be it for the Masters or for the PhD, you have to go through the nomination route. It's not like the Chevening that you apply directly. And we all know that in Cameroon, you can either be nominated through the Ministry of Higher Education or through Early Access Network with Open Dreams as the relay agency, or you go through FAWE. I want you not to talk about higher education or FAWE here, but to talk about Open Dreams. What are the specific steps Open Dreams takes in nominating candidates for the Commonwealth Masters and the PhD?
Yes, so our steps, we signed the Early Access Network with headquarters in Kenya, signed an agreement with the Commonwealth Scholarship Commission in the UK in 2018 with very specific conditions, which are a little bit different from that of other nominating agencies. So the first condition is that the scholar to be nominated must have been affiliated to Open Dreams or its partner organizations like the Community Vision Group of Dr. Mickey, the TIC Foundation which operates at Polytech, or Youth to Youth by Dr. Jackie Fonko, or any of these organizations that is close to affiliated to Open Dreams, and then driving impact on the ground for at least a year. So essentially to us, a nomination is not just sending your name. It is sending your name and a plethora of the things that you're doing in the community. And for instance, if you're a medical doctor, we send your name alongside the local research you've conducted, the number of field missions you might have conducted. If you're a teacher, we send your name alongside your participation in programs like the Open Dreams Summer Academy, like teaching there. We send your name involving situations like you on the streets helping in mitigating peace in the Anglophone crisis, you on the streets helping to clean up the mess we have in Yaoundé or other towns in Cameroon. They just want to see you doing something a little bit extra. And it is not like you just get up in the morning and you do those things in order to meet the conditions so that once you get the opportunity, you disappear into thin air. We want to see consistency over the years. So it takes you a lot of effort to build that profile to deserve a nomination. And when you would have built that profile and you submit your candidacy, before submitting your candidacy even, there is a commission at Open Dreams that oversees everything. And that commission, sometimes it is not even you reaching out to say you applied. They already see the difference you're making as a promising leader, somebody with intellectual promise, somebody with a capacity to create maximum impact or high impact. They reach out to you and suggest that you should apply, or perhaps you can take the step. And when you take the steps, you complete the application and you submit it. Taking note that those that already have an admission letter, a PhD admission letter, a master's admission letter, an offer of admission for a master's program, those ones have a higher chance. And then you have to work out everything in a way that, we are dealing with the British man. We know very well that when we talk of a British man, we talk of somebody very strict. You are dealing with in a way that you respect all of those conditions. For instance, if you have a qualification that is not very good, don't be surprised if you apply and they turn you down. If you have a reckless referee, somebody you write out and plead with the person, send a letter of recommendation, and that person fails to send. Even if you have done 99% of the things, just because of 1%, they're going to reject that file. And so by the time we finish the assessment process at Open Dreams, we submit the entire file ranking our nominees, our proposed nominees, in the order of their community impact, like we do scores. We score on how how much impact you create. There are a number of criteria we use for that. And then the Halley Commission sits and goes through each of the files. You read through the strength of the research paper, you read through your community impact, they read through your profile, they look at how much your program aligns with the development priorities of that country, and then from there they filter again. When they filter, the final list is then sent to the Commonwealth Scholarship Commission in the UK, and then we wait for the final results. So the first year we started, we had a success rate, like each year we send out candidates, at the end we have about 5 people succeeding, which is quite something very big. And between 2018 to now, we're so proud in Cameroon to say that we're counting over 13 PhD scholars who have succeeded. We're not counting those for masters because the number is just quite significant.
Thank you very much, Sir James. I'm just smiling because all my mentees that I've already met through with the Commonwealth Masters of Chevening, I'm not going to give them rest, beginning even from the people who are looking at me in the screen. When it's time, I will not give them rest at all. We've all had the step-by-step procedures that you can take to go through the nomination process. Really, you need to be affiliated to the Open Dreams community. That's very striking. We want to see you not just answering present in our platforms, but actively engaging in the field. It's difficult to deceive and the Open Dream procedures. It's really difficult to be deceptive with us. And so you need to go through those processes in order to be a part of it. Now, some of you might be listening to us for the first time. You're wondering, this is the first time I'm hearing about the Open Dreams. Really, I always say the journey is not for the swift. Information is power. You can get the information today. If you are not yet a part of Open Dreams, you can become a part of Open Dreams today and start nurturing that relationship, revealing the true impact that you are carrying out in the field. And then you are just letting us know that there is someone we can invest in 2026, in 2027, in 2028. And that's the beauty of it all. And that's why we are here today. Now, I know I had a series of questions for Sir Akabajen, but I want to skip to one very important question. Hundreds of Cameroonians are going to be seeking nomination. Not all of them are going to be nominated at the end of it all for the Commonwealth Masters or PhD. Where do we keep the rest of the people who can't secure nomination with us, yet they carry the kind of profile that we really want? Are there some alternative scholarship schemes that Open Dreams holds so dear and promotes apart from the Commonwealth Masters and PhD?
Yes, thank you so much, Dr. Mickey, for this very interesting question. So I quickly go through a bit of history. When we started in 2018, it was only in 2024 that we're able to fill all the nomination slots. For instance, we're expected to nominate up to 15 students for PhD. The first year, we didn't have up to 10. Second year, the same. Third year, the same. Fourth year, the same. It was only this year that we had in fact, we had about 18 of the students nominated. 18 students. So we had we had more than we could nominate. So what is so interesting about the Commonwealth is something, in fact, we're still trying to figure out what is so interesting about the Commonwealth, because there are lots of other scholarship programs that sometimes the expiry date comes through without a single person applying. A lot of them. In fact, we face that every day. Right now, we have, I can quote one. We have the MasterCard program at the Arizona State University in the US. It's ending in about it's ending tomorrow. And that's a graduate scholarship opportunity. Up to now, when I check the system, I see just 3 people have applied. But for the Commonwealth alone, we have already had over 40 people reaching out to us and asking for nomination. At the University of Oxford, which is also part of the Early Access ecosystem, just like the University of Edinburgh, they have this simple scholarship. When I say simple, I mean they're reaching out very aggressively, trying to get people to apply. The Ellison Scholars program at Oxford. Last year, I counted 2 people who applied. So there are many of such scholarships that are simply not getting attention. But the one that involves nomination, everybody wants to get a nomination. Even the Commonwealth, there's a Commonwealth Speyside, there's a Commonwealth shared, there's a Commonwealth distance, and then there's a Chevening. These are some of the scholarships that do not require direct nomination. And sometimes, they don't get as many applications as possible. So meanwhile, Commonwealth requires you to have been part of Open Dreams for at least a year before you can earn a nomination. There are many other scholarships that do not place this constraint, meaning that you just need to be part of that ecosystem, and you should be, and as long as you're determined, you have your paper is well written, you got academic merit in place, the quality of your research proposal is so good, the quality of your study plan with regards to Cameroon is so good, and then the potential of your development impact is so promising. I bet you, if you apply once, you don't get it, you modify and apply again a second time, you are most likely to get it. We have far fewer people applying at the top than we would really dream it to be happening. Like when you go to most of these institutions, you find Kenyans, Ghanaians, South Africans, so many of them. But Cameroonians, you don't find as many. We have been changing that game, and we hope we can do more. And that's why initiatives like this, driven by Dr. Mickey, are so good. And I must say a shout out to people like Dr. Mickey, Martha Lingong, Iviri Rasifatu, Charles Femshang, and all of these people who have achieved, they've gone, they've seen, they've conquered, and are making sure that many other Cameroonians can also get to that level. Because the more educated we are, the more opportunities we can bring back home and help Cameroon to emerge.
The more educated we are, the more we can seize the opportunities and move on. And I really want to cue into that statement, Dr. Sir Akaba James, you're making. We need to reposition ourselves for this opportunity. Someone once said, the word luck doesn't really mean something comes and meets you where you are. It's laboring under correct knowledge. Laboring under correct knowledge. That's when you experience luck. And this is just what we are trying to do. Oh dear. Please, when you join the meeting, kindly stay muted. If you want the best of it, if you want the best experience from this session, just stay muted. We are going to open up the session. I'll be opening up breakout rooms for you to have a discussion with each of these panelists. You've seen beautifully dressed, looking. You're going to meet them in your breakout rooms in a bit. Thank you again, Sir Akaba James. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you in our midst. Please, if you are still around, we will likely have to call you up. But if in case you are not there with us throughout, we just want to say a very big thank you for responding to our call. And I will definitely be letting people know how they can join the Open Dreams community at some point in our webinar. Once again, thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mickey. And once again, we commend your effort and pray you to continue being the trailblazer you've been, creating pathways, being so passionate, ensuring that, many more people can be like you.
People is not there.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Is Auntie Mimi on call? Auntie Mirel? I know she definitely dropped me a message. Oh, Mickey, I'm finding it difficult joining this meeting. Been trying all in vain. Nevertheless, I do have people in the call who would definitely answer some of those questions that would have been directed to our Chevening officer, because you can't separate Chevening scholars from their Chevening officer. For sure, I can guarantee that. However, let me transition to Azinui. I'm coming over to Azinui. Something strikes me each time I look at Azinui's face and how she got to the University of Reading. Just a minute. It's a very difficult question for you. I must make sure that I get it right. Azinui? Yes.
Yes, Mickey. Hi, everyone.
There were so many universities in the UK. Yet Chevening wanted you to choose just 3 universities and flag it up in your application. What factors guided your decision to choose the University of Reading? Because in the essays that all these youngsters, potential applicants will be firing in, one of the key areas will be, why have you chosen this university and this course? We want to hear from you. What are the factors that guided your decision to choosing the University of Reading over the other universities?
Thank you very much, Mickey. Hello, everyone. Really nice to be here among you all. I hope that you're able to grasp 1 or 2 things from this conversation that will help you with your essay writing and your scholarship journey. So yeah, Mickey, back to your questions. When I was applying, I don't think there were a lot of universities offering the course that I wanted to do. So for the record, I did a master's in food security and development. And at the time, I don't know now what the system looks like. There weren't a lot of universities offering that particular niche of a course. I think I had about 4 or 5 universities offering the course. And And for me, there were key factors that I was looking for. I was looking at the location. I was looking at the international community, and what's the international community like for that university. I was looking at the lecturers. I was looking at the ranking of the university. I was looking at the research portfolio of the university. I was looking at um, beyond the course title, what are the models looking like? What are the opportunities that the universities offer as a whole? So I had a long list of the things that I was looking at. So I did something like a spreadsheet or a mind map of the universities that that are offering the courses that I wanted to do. And when I did the checklist, I realized, oh, Reading actually ticked most of the boxes than, for example, Newcastle University also has a program around food security and development. So I think those were the key factors. So besides those checklists, so now you need to go, as I always say, evil is in the details, looking at, okay, if I'm looking at if University of Reading has a portfolio or a profile around research international development, what are the topics that they are researching? Who is researching? Which lecturers are researching those topics? And I will tell you that one of the lecturers actually had done work in Cameroon. So I was like, aha, this is the one I'm taking. You know, so because I just saw that someone from that university had worked in Cameroon, I just felt like, okay, they would speak my language or they would understand what I'm talking about in terms of South-South development or global South development. So yeah, those were some of the areas that I looked at when I was choosing my particular university, which was University of Reading.
Wow. Thank you so much, Azdenu. I think this question really balances it up, because that question often comes and people are really like, oh, I want to go to the University of Oxford, I want to go to Cambridge University, I want to go to London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine, I want to go to Liverpool School, the School of Tropical Medicine, John Moores University, UCL, Swartz University, Cardiff University. You can list all of those universities. But there is a difference between chasing after Ivy League universities and chasing after universities that actually offers a program that connects to the future that you want to pursue. And that is the question I wanted to push to Azdenu, which I feel so pushed to this question. How did you balance prestige and ranking versus suitability of the course to your career goals?
So I mean, let's all agree, prestige is good, right? It's good to go to those Ivy League universities. I mean, I would be, if I say I went to University of Harvard, you'll be like, oh, really? You did, there's that pride that comes with going to these Ivy League universities. But I think in your application process, you have to look beyond the Ivy League universities. Do they actually have programs that fit into sorry sorry about that. Do they actually have programs that fit into the kind of impact you want to make? So I'll give you an example. Before I applied for my Chevening scholarship, I already had a mapping or a strategy on how I want my 5-year plan to look like. And Mickey will tell you that every part of it, everything that I mapped out actually worked out the way I mapped them out. So I was looking at a university that will fit into this plan that I have actually mapped out for myself. And I'll give you an example, like I said. When I looked through the Reading University website and the course that I was about to take, another striking thing that I saw was that they actually had like research grants, mini research grants for master students who wanted to do field research for their dissertation. So like it was about £2,000. So if your research dissertation was something that needed you to go to the field to do that work, you can apply for that mini grant and they would give you. I mean, that was an opportunity for me to get hands-on experience on my thematic, which was my dissertation and the area that I was interested in. So you can go for the Ivy League, no doubt, but does that Ivy League actually, what are your chances? Let me put it that way. What are your chances going to that Ivy League and also just looking at a university, not a community college? I mean, nothing wrong with a community college, but you have to strike a balance on what is it that actually need to work. What will work for me? To achieve this dream serve of mine that I'm trying to work on. So yeah, Mickey, I hope that answers the question.
That answers my question and a whole lot of questions on my checklist. And now I want to, because you've already taken me through the checklist I have in front of me, I just want to spot on with the participants on call. When you're looking at, you're definitely going to, maybe you are interested in public health, you're going to have many universities in the UK offering that particular course on public health or on nutrition.
Yeah.
It's so many different universities. But please, Azuni just made mention of something. Have a spreadsheet. Have a roadmap in front of you. Establish that spreadsheet even before looking at this university. And then you move on to this university to see which university actually fits into that picture that you have designed for yourself. I always take this very snobbish example that someone who said, I am still an undergraduate student. I want to become a reference engineer that anyone can ever think of. And the guy goes to the market and buys a nice engineering outfit, puts it on, go to the studio, and take a good photograph of himself. And every morning he wakes up, he says, this is the engineer, even when he has not yet become an engineer. It's having a mental picture of who you want to be, and then navigating yourself to understand what is that institution, what kind of program, what kind of mentor, what kind of a professional career plan can I put in place to achieve all of this. I think this is really what Azini's spreadsheet is speaking to. Now, because I want to spare Azini from talking, but I still have some few questions to come in. Hello, please, can you stay muted? Okay. Another aspect will be really ensuring that you are able to narrow down these universities from the long list to the short list to the ones that the 3 that you're going to put in either into your Chevening application or into your Commonwealth application. Now, Azini made mention of the fact that look into the modules. When you are preparing for this application, especially for Chevening, you are automatically preparing yourself for the interview. Because by the time you get longlisted, you get shortlisted, and you are invited for interview, the same effort that you have put in preparing for the application is required at the level of the interview, because they will be asking you which specific modules in this university you choose appeal to you and align with the future that you have in front of you. You should be able to speak to the specific modules speak about the faculty, the kind of researchers you've met you've researched about them in that department, in that faculty, in that school that actually meet the benchmark, the professional benchmark that you have put for yourself. What about the research opportunity? I can remember Azimi getting that mini grant to take her to Zambia, where she conducted her research and not only ended there, ended up using that portal to gain access to the current employment that she is holding today. Don't ask me which organization. But as so much, when I look at that career path and the choice she made, it speaks volumes just to come back to us listening here as potential Chevening and Commonwealth applicants. There is a lot you can do rather than just being driven by emotion that I graduated from London School of Hygiene or Cambridge or Oxford. Is far beyond that. There is something in depth that you need to look when you're choosing your university. Azini, one question again for you. What advice will you give to someone who is torn between a dream university and a course that seems more practical or impactful for their career?
Very much, Mickey. Before I go into that, answering that particular question, I just want to give another, maybe a nugget on one thing that I mentioned earlier about location. You would excuse me, I have a very bad cough
All right.
So about the location, I think this is something that people often underlook in terms of choosing their university. The location of your university can make or break your Chevening experience. If you don't have, so for example, it's like I'll give you an example. Let's just say you're in Bamenda, right? There is University of Bamenda, and let's say I'll pick my tribe as an example. Let's say there was another university around Bafut, for example. The experience that you get in terms of schooling at the University of Bamenda and schooling at the University of Bafut, for example, is going to be different because of the location. The thing is, University of Bamenda has, is urban. You have access to many things. You have access to opportunities. That's where information starts there before going to University of Bamenda, University of Bafut. So it's the same thing with Chevening. When you're look about where is this university located. It should not be in, one town that is so disconnected from the rest of the town, the city or the country. So look for something that allows you to have short commutes to opportunities. So for example, I was University of Reading, and from University of Reading to London, it was about 30 minutes train ride. I could get an internship in London and still commute between Reading and London. So that's what I mean by find universities that allows you to explore beyond the university structure itself. So I thought I flagged that for those who would want to make, a holistic, gain from the Chevening opportunity. Now back to Mickey's question about being torn between whether impact or prestige. I mean, the choice boils down to why really you're taking out hours to write this scholarship. Is it just to gain, go there and flaunt on social media that you have been to the Chevening and back and take pictures? I mean, you make a choice. Or is it really just to carve out an impactful, life-changing moment for you? I mean, we have Chevening scholars that are doing amazingly well, that are in super high decision-making positions. I wouldn't call names. You can Google them and you'll find them. And we also have some that have come back and, I wouldn't they haven't really, I wouldn't say doing well, but I don't know, there is that marked difference in you have the two levels, the two extreme of people who have gone there and done exceedingly well. They're in high positions. And you also have people that are still struggling to find their feet despite going to the Chevening. I'm just saying that this is a moment for you to carve out how you want your Chevening experience to look like. I always tell myself if I were to go back to Chevening, I would do so many things that I shied away from doing. So it's still on what do you really want? The picture that you've carved out for yourself, that 5-year plan, is that university, is Cambridge going to allow you to achieve what you've earmarked for yourself? Is Oxford going, if they will help you achieve it, go for it. We are not saying don't go to Cambridge or don't go to Oxford. The question is just, will it help me achieve what I have set out for myself and what I have set out for my career plan? Because I don't know how the questions look like now, but I know it's leadership,
It's
still
leadership,
focus,
it's networking,
networking, it's the
career.
courses,
Yeah,
career, and then it's the long-term plan. Is it the career
yeah,
one?
it's still there.
Yeah. So the choice of university and the choice of courses, like you're answering, you're supposed to tell a story, and let the choice of course not, make your story disjointed. So make sure that everything that you're saying is aligned. Don't just say, oh, I want to go to Cambridge because Cambridge is the most prestigious university. I think that, oh, I saw that the president of so and so country went to Cambridge, and I really want to go there so that it will be nice. Does it really fit into the picture of the other questions that you've picked?
Absolutely.
Mickey, I hope I answered the question and I have
Absolutely.
around.
You're spot on that. And I would dare add here that Azini, like Nikki, like Bomzele, who all attended the University of Reading, how really I choose that university was not just about the University of Reading itself. I went on the global ranking to look at the school within the university. So maybe the ranking of the university didn't really mean so much to me, but the school within the university was actually topping in the world. When you want to talk about agriculture, then if you miss out the School of Agriculture among the top 10 universities in the world, then there is an issue. So that was a kicker for me. And also, those who are into entrepreneurship, business financing, you have Henley Business School. That is a school that top economists around the world, top business people around the world, they do attend. So if you don't find an overall, a kind of a very strong reason that a university gives you, look beyond or narrow down to the faculty, narrow down to the department. How is it performing? And then put those reasons. Those are the things that the selection committee is kind of looking at to say this person has been able to do his or her own assignment in the right way. I would just here, before I call on the next panelist, I want to let you people understand, as Zini made a certain point, make your essay from the start to the end to be like, let it be a story that is connected, not disjointed. If you use an example at the level of leadership, let that example begin to show some connection while you are choosing a particular course. Let that example begin to tie in how you network and establish certain kind of relationships. Let that example that you have given be able to tie with the long-term career plan that you are going to put. Just to say, if you give me this scholarship, this is where I am, this is what I've been doing before, and this is where I want to go to. As simple as that. I always say, if we do have the opportunity to reapply for the Chevening scholarship, maybe, just maybe, it's going to take a day for us to scrape all our aces and submit and wait for the results. But what we are saying, we are giving you the best opportunity to be able to navigate and seize the opportunity the way we did it. The reason why we have to do this is because if we had to put in 100 hours to do the right thing, we want you to put in 50 hours or less to achieve the same results. Now, thank you, Azini. It's such an honor to always have you. Usually, I'm afraid to always say Azini has been my mentee since 2012, and now she's just grown above. And each time I want to do something, I want to check with Azini first. Azini, look at this. What do you think? Is this okay? And that's the pride of having someone who grows up right in front of you and is making a difference. I'm so proud of you. Thank you so much, and keep impacting your community. I will quickly dive over now to, is Auntie Mimi on call? Auntie Mirel? Okay, seemingly Auntie Mirel will not be able to join us because the webinar is full to capacity. No other person can join again. This is just to say this is very, very important. But we are going to try as much as possible to respond to those questions that the Chevening officer was supposed to bring to us at some point. Now let me move to Kecha. Hello, Kecha. Hello, Kecha.
Hi, Mickey. Hi, everyone.
I remember when I met Kecha the first time in London, it was a joint Chevening and Commonwealth event. We've always been catching up the close over the social media, but we met the first time. That's the beauty of the Chevening and the Commonwealth Scholarship. You always get to meet like-minded people. And that's why, with that interaction, I knew that Kecha would definitely be one of the favorites to speak to you this evening. Kecha, once again, thanks for honoring our invitation. First question, our potential applicants are going to be tackling leadership questions as part of their Chevening ACs. How can applicants demonstrate leadership in their ACs if they haven't had any formal title like a manager, a team member, a director? How can they demonstrate the little leadership that will make their ACs stand out? Over to you.
Thank you so much, Mickey. I'm really honored to be here, and I'll just dive in. Interesting question. First of all, we know Chevening is interested in leadership, impact. It's not interested in titles. It's not interested in all those names, big names. Chevening wants to see the challenges that you have seen and how you're working to bring change, the actions you've taken, and the results that you're bringing. It's not interested in the titles that you put. So you have to look beyond this and focus on your influence. What have you done? You might think you're not a leader and you're confused there because you're not out there in big cities or you're in platforms that everyone knows you, you're doing things, but you might just be in a little community, bringing just little change. Like in a classroom, I'm a teacher. I'll just give an example, like what I did. The government teachers training Government Technical High School, sorry, I volunteer with Teachers Training College, that's why I'm confused. Government Technical High School. So let's just say you're in a small community where you just have 50 students and you're impacting change, just teaching the alphabet. Why are you teaching the alphabet? And what has this done? What change has it brought to these 50 students that you're teaching? You are a leader already. So it's not the big platform that you have. It's just the small one that you have. And what have you done with it? That's what Chevening wants to know. So if you've solved a problem, advocated for a cause, or inspired others, you are a leader. And that's what you have to sell. So first, you have to make the assessors to know that you actually know what leadership is all about. So you list the core leadership skills that you have. If it is communication skills, how are you using this skill to bring impact? Okay, so when you list this core leadership qualities that you have, you list now the challenges that you've encountered. And then what action did you take using the same skills? And then you bring out the results. That is it. You are a leader. So you will not say a leader is just the ministers in your country or your head teachers or delegates. No, that's not it. So it's not titles at all. It's not interested in these titles. It's how you saw yourself, the skills that you've had, and how you've brought this change. No matter how small you might think this change is, it will go a long way to revealing or demonstrating that you are a leader in your community. So that's just it.
Absolutely. Thank you, Kecha, for that leadership example. Usually I tell people the things Chevening and Commonwealth are looking for in leadership aces are not the big things. Someone in the past couple of days, somebody asked me, Dr. Mickey, can I talk about an example from the church perspective? And I said, please don't preach in your essay. Nobody wants to get a sermon. However, you can transform a story of something that was so strategic in the church. It might be somebody started choking in church and there was no water. And for the past 5 years, nobody has thought of putting water in the church for any emergency. Because somebody started choking, the one person stood up, and that was you. You took the leadership challenge, advocated for the placement of strategic drinking water buckets in church. You didn't end there. You ensured that there was a roster so that water should constantly be changed in those buckets. Because if water stays in that bucket for more than 1 week without being changed, it can contaminate. You went further to say, in this rota, we want to train a committee of church water supply, just to make sure that the people who are keeping the water in the church are taking the responsibility. You are a leader. You are not necessarily the person doing what is supposed to be done, but you are influencing, you are directing, you are visionary, you have taken the bold step to be able to tell every other person that something needed to be done, and this is how it has. This is the thing that has been done, and this is the impact. That is what we want to see you get through in your aces. Thank you, Kecha, for really spotlighting what you reflected in your aces. Before I will come back to you, I want to find out is our good friend Felix Fomengia in the call. Hi, Felix. Hi, Felix.
Yes, good evening, Dr. Mickey. Yes.
Please, can we have the honor to see your face?
Okay. Why I'm setting up the camera. Yes. I want to say that I'm really delighted to be here, and of course,
no worries at all. You can definitely you can definitely show your face at the end of it. But this is the question.
Yes. Okay.
You became so influential, and you are still influential in Cameroon. Felix Fomengia, I remember one time, the first time I knew about Felix Fomengia was when somebody came to me advocating on his behalf. Mickey, please, can you mentor this young guy who is so passionate about what he does in the IT sector? And I believe you me, that was the first time I knew about Felix Fomengia. And you know what? Our encounter within a very short time was as if we have known ourselves for a decade. Felix, what makes a career plan essay very convincing? Is it more about ambition, feasibility, and is it more about ambition or feasibility, or both?
Yes, thank you once again, Mickey. Before answering this question, let me add that you were really resourceful in my Chevening application. I think that was 3 years ago. So, I mean, I will forever be grateful for your mentorship and all your contributions towards my journey. Yes. So, to the question, yes, I believe that a career plan should be balance between both, and I can try to share just a few tips which I believe what an ideal Chevening career plan should look like. So you should have, let's say, clear and ambitious goals. For example, outline your short-term, medium, and long-term career objectives. and also demonstrate the impact you want to create back home following your scholarship, and ensure, for example, that your goals are specific. They can be measured. For example, when you talk of short-term goals, for example, first 2 years when you return to the country, of course, and then for your medium-term goals, you can measure in terms of saying 3 to 5 years, and then long-term goals, which you can measure 10 years and moving forward. Yes, so yes.
And they invite only with 12.
Okay, I'm muting the guy. Carry on.
Okay, yes. So have clear and ambitious goals, for example, just like I said, and also align with, for example, with Chevening, for example, show how your career plan we connect, for example, with your choosing course and your specific priority your says above. And also you can show how the Chevening program and the network, for example, will support your career ambitions. And also you can discuss how you leverage the skills, knowledge, connections gained during your time in the UK, for example, to come back. You want to come back to Cameroon and what you want to be doing. And also, lastly, let me say that it's also important that you understand UK activities in the country. For example, you have to be aware of what the UK government is doing in Cameroon, for example, and how to align your career goals with this effort, and overall just explain how your work will complement or enhance these activities. I think for my essay, I can quite remember where that all of what I wrote as part of my career goals. For example, I think that when I came back to Cameroon, I saw myself achieving all what I told the panelists in my interview. So you have to see that your goals are ambitious. For example, they are inspiring. These are things you can achieve. For example, first 2 years for short-term goals, 3 to 5 years for medium-term goals, and long-term goals for 10 years and above. Thank you, Dr. Mickey.
Thank you so much, Felix. Thank you so much. I would definitely give the opportunity. I know Azinwe has already spoken. I know Kecha has already spoken. But this is a very critical part of your essay that I will not allow any participant here to miss out on the opportunity to get diverse views on how to strengthen your career essay. Now, before I call Azinwe up, I want to make mention, before you are able to adequately answer any career question, be it for the Chevening or the Commonwealth, please make sure you have a perfect alignment of that picture you want to reach with one vision, Cameroon Vision 2035. Although when I look at that vision, I think by now we should have been having skyscrapers, flyovers in Douala, in Yaoundé, and the city, you can even walk around with your shoes and go sleep with your shoes without removing them. But never mind whether it's achieved or not achieved. You need to reflect that vision in your career plan. How you are going to contribute to that Cameroonian vision, because the UK government is fully aware of that vision. Now, when you have Cameroon Vision 2035, you have Cameroon 2030 National Development Strategy, which has been carved out from the Vision 2035. Put these two documents side by side. If there is no connection between what you are writing to these statutory documents of the Cameroon government, you are on a very, very difficult path with your essays. Secondly, Chevening is not looking for people who are going to become just local champions. Chevening is looking for people who are doing a lot of things locally, but are eager to grow to global leadership. And so you need to have a knowledge of Africa Vision 2063, the Africa we want. How do you want to contribute to that picture? at least today, some of us in the call, sometimes when we look back, what we really planned, the ACEs were so spicy. If you give me this scholarship, we are going to do this back to Cameroon. At the African continental level, this is what we'll be doing. At the global level, this is what we'll be doing. And we'll comfortably tell you which sustainable development goals are very central to our cases, to our career plan. So please, when you are reflecting on your career development plan, put these 3 layers together. Make sure that what you are saying has a bearing. 1, Cameroon statutory documents. I mentioned Vision 2035 and the 2030 National Development Strategy. Number 2, the Africa Vision 2063. Number 3, the Sustainable Development Goals. And do not in any way rely on AI. It's a killer disease in this day and age for scholarship applications. I want to warn because we'll definitely come to that. Azuni, 2 minutes of advice on career objectives.
I don't know why I'm laughing on the issue of the AI because I recently saw I recently saw a post on LinkedIn how an article was taken down from a famous I can't remember the publisher. The publisher took down the article, a research piece, because there was one sentence in it that was AI related, and the authors were, I think, were banned or something. There was like some consequences given to the authors. Just to say that AI is real, but how it could make and break our careers. Again, just to go back on Mickey on any advice on the career, I think Mickey has said it all. It's good to align to. We may not agree with what's written in these documents that Mickey has mentioned, but we need to make sure that. But it is what it is. That is what the government is working towards. We need to align with the government as well to make sure that whatever we are writing aligns or is going to support the government achieve, the development plan that they've set out for the country. And I think one key thing that was also mentioned was what is it that the British High Commission is doing? What's their mandate in Cameroon? Because remember, there are 2, give me a minute. Can I finish? No, I'm in a meeting now. Can you go and come back later? Sorry.
No worries at all. Yes, while Azinu is trying to resolve that, I think she's back.
Yes,
perfect.
The negotiation was. So yeah, we have it's a bilateral collaboration. We have the UK government and we have the Cameroon government. So your essay need to make sure that it pleases both entities. What is it that the UK government is doing in Cameroon, and how does your program support the UK mission in Cameroon? How? So, for example, the UK government currently is doing they are around conservation, for example. They are doing a lot of things around women empowerment. They have different projects and different things that they are doing. So what you're going to study in the UK, how does it help the UK government in Cameroon fulfill their mandate? And again, how does it also align with what the government is currently aiming for? So it's like you have to strike a balance with your application. My one advice that I would give in general is don't be too generic in your essay writing. Be specific, take it as a personal project and tell a story. So if you start, I'll take myself as an example. If I started with an example of leadership around working with an initiative on cassava initiative, working with rural women, and within that space, I figured out that despite the abundance, the diversity, there was general lack of knowledge around food security. We still had a lot of stunting rates. We still had all of these issues around food insecurity. My impact was felt and blah blah blah. I did all of that. That's an example. And then I go, okay, because of this gap that I found in the field around food insecurity, the lack of basic knowledge around diversity and all of that, I have decided to pursue a master's in food security and development because I think this master's program would help me, solve this problem that I have identified within the context of Cameroon. And then I go within my networking skills to say, oh, in all of these things that I've been doing, I actually met with so and so that, these people gave me other opportunities to further diversify what I was doing. They gave me, training opportunities in this field, and I was able to use those skills and those networks to further impact the communities. Now, in the future, based on my Chevening award, when I come back, I think I would expand this project that I'm trying to work on, or I anticipate to build more networks or more collaborations, more partnerships with so and so to be able to, achieve, make sure that we have zero, food insecurity rates. Maybe within a community, you don't need to talk about Cameroon as a whole. You can go down to, in the Northwest region, for example, we achieve, zero levels of food insecurity. So the story needs to allow the reader needs to just be reading your book and be like, oh wow, oh really, oh like you need to have that coherence from the start to the finish. I hope that I provided a bit of clarity on that.
Thank you, Azinwi. This is what I wanted to hear. Consistency. Let it be a flow. There is, just look at yourself growing from one level to the other. It's the same way all the assessors, people reviewing your essays. I remember having this conversation, a very informal chat with most of the Chevening and the Commonwealth, those who go through the screening process. And they're like, Mickey, we're not looking for something very big. We just want to see some authenticity. We want to see people authentic in the way they appear in writing. We want to see people come across. When you are reading, you are seeing them 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, even while they are still to come in to attend our universities. I mean, that is the picture. And what Azinu is saying is very important. The example you take at the level of your leadership reflect that same example at the level of networking. Reflect that same example and connect it to your career ambition. Reflect that same example to justify why you are choosing the course you have finally chosen. That is the secret. Some people will take one example. The worst one is when I'm reviewing essays and somebody is telling me leadership is defined as, who are you lecturing leadership to? We can all punch our computers and see all the kinds of definitions of leadership. We don't want that. We want to see leadership in you. We want to see you reflect the leadership. We want to see how through the leadership you were able to leverage on networks and make things happen, and how this translates to the bigger picture. Now, Felix, for me, yes.
Sorry, Mickey, while I have the floor, I just wanted to quickly say something. Not because I don't know if it's relevant for this call, but in my years of reviewing or talking to people about the Chevening Scholarship, there's always been this one question that, but the Chevening, they're asking for 2 years work experience. I don't know, maybe Mickey would have, Miriam would have been here.
That question was reserved for Miriam, but jump on that.
But that's one of the questions that really come across a lot of times, that people are worried that they don't have work experience. And I think it shouldn't be a holding factor, because Chevening is not necessarily looking at a formal contract. Like, you don't necessarily have to have like a formal employment to be able to have those 2 years work experience. So whether it was internships, whether it was a voluntary work that you did, whether it was just, you just doing anything, even when it's not paid, anything that you have done counts as work.
For a scholarship,
Anything you have done counts as work experience. The real deal or the real work is in the way you're going to tell your story. Let me also use myself as an example. So beyond the Chevening, I also had like the Cameroon Women's Scholarship, which is also another scholarship that was it was a local scholarship by the British High Commission. Unfortunately, the era for that scholarship ended. But before when I first saw that scholarship, I didn't have like formal work experience, and they were also asking for 2 years work experience. And I remember thinking to myself, "Oh, what should I write in this essay?" And you will be shocked to hear that one of my examples in that essay was back in my high school years. Back in my high school years, I had to draw an example when I was in my health club. You know, in secondary school, you have this health club, all these clubs. So I was in the health club. I did so and so. This is what happens. I narrated all that story, and lo and behold, I got that scholarship to do my first master's degree here in Cameroon. So I'm just saying that you should not underestimate the power of storytelling and the power of telling your authentic story.
Thank you, Azenui. Before I will call on the next speaker, I'm just so itchy to call Eric Bomzele. But before I come to that, I want to give another very little example. Leadership. I'm hanging on this because this is what Chevening is looking for. When I was in Cas Bambili, the toilets were not always clean. No other person could take up the challenge to clean the toilets. I self-elected myself and went up to the senior discipline master. Please, I have an idea on how our toilets can be sustainably clean. Can you make me the toilet prefect of the school? And because it was so funny, they told me, Mickey, what do you think we should do? I said, no, just give me the mandate, give me the power. The administration should be my backing. And they agreed, and I went on to say, I'm going to develop a plan. We always have noisemakers from P cars to grand cars. Can we have a list every week generated of those who are making noise in class, or those who are coming late, or those who are disturbing in one way or the other? Instead of punishing them to just kneel down and go and do certain things, send some to me and I will coordinate them to clean our toilets. And I provided a budget to clean these toilets. We need detergents, we need this, and we also need locks. And those are the kind of things I took steps. And it was towards something to improve the situation of toilets in the school. How nasty it was, but it was a leadership responsibility. And behold, I kept that story in my Chevening essay, and it was a wow right up to the interview. So what we are saying here is, it is not a big thing that you are going to be doing. Thank you, Azenui. Thank you. We are so glad that you were able to make that time to be with us. And we look forward to seeing you sometime when we'll be preparing some of them for interviews. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mickey. I wish you all the best. Bye for now.
Bye. Okay. Eric Junior Bomzele. I want to come to you on networking. In your view, hello, Eric.
Hello, Gilbert.
Great. In your view, I want to begin by saying Chevening emphasizes networking so much. What kinds of examples best show networking ability, especially for applicants who may not have international exposure?
All right, thank you very much, Mickey, and I thank the other previous speakers as well as the participants in this mentorship and coaching session. So I would say there are several ways of networking. So sometimes when we talk about networking, people tend to go think like it's something far-fetched. Meanwhile, there are little things which you can still pick around. For example, in your communities, there are youth groups. For example, in Cameroon, we have the chapters on the National Youth Council, for example. Those are some of the kind of leadership networks which you can leverage on to pitch your ideas on how you can bring about solutions to development challenges within your communities. Also, for those who are in the university setting, there are research groups, I think. Like every department has like research group where you have lecturers. I don't know for the other faculties and departments, but I think for mine, in the Department of Agricultural Economics and Agribusiness, we have like a research group where we have a culture of mentoring. That's early career researchers, and also senior researchers in the same forum. So, for example, if there are challenges like we are faced with the whims and caprices of the current global threat, which is climate change, for example. I always like to take the example of climate change because there are development challenges, hunger, crisis, and many other things. But climate change is like a global threat which further exacerbates those other development challenges. So, how do we come about resolving some of these situations? Now, through your research networks, like in the university, you can liaise with other research institutes. For example, those in the agricultural sector, you can liaise with IRAD, like we have the IRAD, the Institute for Agricultural Research and Development. I think that's the full meaning in English.
Yes.
Where you can see your lecturers. And for my case, let me just say for my case, I was so passionate about these climate change issues. So right from my undergraduate level, when I finished high school, initially I was thinking of, with the science students after A levels, biochem, physics, math, further math, you start thinking of being a medical doctor, being an engineer, and so on. But then in 2010, when I had my A levels and on entering the university, I recalled my dad. One day we were watching CRTV. I know most of us Cameroonians dread CRTV a lot, but then this idea of Vision 2035 came, and agriculture was at the center of this. Was at the center of it. So my dad asked me, "What do you think about this agriculture?" Then I had a primitive knowledge. I knew agriculture is just about farm work and so on. So I refused initially. So later on, after he persuaded me and some of my uncles kind of also enlightened me more about agriculture, I further resolved to probably give it a try. So while studying at the undergraduate level, I used to volunteer. I spent more time volunteering with NGOs rather than even attending my lectures in the university, like the Environmental Governance Institute, which was like a local development or implementation partner to the WWF Cameroon, that's the Worldwide Fund for Nature. So through those kind of organizations, I gained interest in some of their thematic areas, like the aspect of conservation. You start seeing the linkages between conservation and agriculture. So most times I used to excel in class, but even my lecturers and colleagues and fellow classmates don't used to see me in class, but when they are sharing papers, I usually score the highest, for example. But many could not understand what was going on because while they were teaching the theory in class, I was experiencing the practicals in the field. So I was blending both the theory and the practicals, and most of my examples I'll give in class was like very unique, and that made some lecturers to kind of take note of my my writing and so on. So
right,
that's the power of some of those networks and so on. And then I got this COVID-19, which came also, and it was like a global shock. So then, on scoping through the development strategy, I also got into contact with the people of the safety net project, which is also part of the poverty eradication program. That's the partnership between the World Bank and the Cameroon government. So while going through, I had the opportunity to kind of take part in the activity. Me coming from the agricultural background, I propose the position of a socio-environmentalist. Someone will be asking what's the use of a socio-environmentalist in such a project. But with my networks from WWF, as well as the Boya chapter of the Cameroon National Youth Council, I could pitch the idea and also got like other networks which helped me. Like they say, your network define your net worth. So there are a host of some of these networks which you can use from the grassroots, that's your community level. Be it, I heard Dr. Miki giving example of the church. Yes, those are some of the avenues you can use. There are churches which take part in agricultural projects to feed the poor. They have farms, like the Catholic Church. The Catholic Church has farms. The Presbyterian Church, I think they do have agricultural projects too. They have environmental projects and so on. So you can begin even from the level of your church. So just a combination of all these things helped me today. God blessing, and also with my training, I find myself today with the World Bank, which has always been my dream institution. So it is no magic, but what I'll say is that you should pick every avenue, have a plan, because every leader has a vision, and a vision without goals, objectives, as well as proposed actions and tasks is only a dream. And it's very difficult to achieve a dream. But once you have a clear vision and you also collaborate with people through your networks and with your leadership skills, you must not be at the head. But leadership is about taking the initiative. You can still be a common member, a floor member, but you come up with initiatives, you propose initiatives through those networks, and your leadership impact will also be felt. So I think
Great.
for now, I can pause here and maybe intervene as we go on again. So
Thank you so much, Eric Bomzele. I remember cruising with you at the University of Reading. Such
yes,
an excellent institution for people aspiring to take up agriculture and so on. Thank you so much for intervening. I'm quite aware that I'm keeping a giant waiting, Dr. Iya Maliki. But before I will transition to Dr. Iya Maliki to have a conversation on the Commonwealth Masters and PhD Scholarship, let me come back to Felix Pomengia. Felix. Hello, Felix.
Yes, Dr. Miki.
Great. In your view, what is the right balance between being authentic and just selling yourself in a networking essay? Because we know the temptation is for some people to fake a lot of things in their essays. Isn't that a disaster, a recipe for disaster? How can they stay authentic in their essays, especially networking?
Yes, thank you, Dr. Miki. I think staying authentic is just sharing genuine experiences, for example. And I want to say that it is very important that you connect your networking essay to, for example, building on examples you gave in your leadership essay. So that way you try to also explain the networking aspects, but using the leadership examples which you actually provided. So for example, I can say for my leadership, for example, I remember mentioning, because back then I did this application in West Boya, which was the GC Guide app. And I think back then it was helping, I think, over 40,000 students. And this was one of my leadership examples, and as an innovative person, innovative leader, for example. So when I came down to in order to stay authentic, to be genuine, and to share also genuine example of your networking, for example, you can come down to your networking essay and then you speak now recalling your leadership example and use it to say, okay, in order to achieve what you achieve for your leadership example, for example, you had to, for myself, I could say I had to network with teachers. I remember to get the resources for this platform, and just sharing all the networks and how you were able to create these networks. Is it going to campaigns, workshops, and getting contacts for the resource persons for your project. It could be in health, it could be in education, and just telling how you were able to create this network. I believe doing this, you stay authentic because this is true. Of course, you can equally sell yourself in your networking essay, which is basically just focusing on the impact of your networking, for example, and overall just also sharing how you want to influence, for example, the Chevening community. I remember in my networking essay, I spoke of how I want to engage with the Chevening community during my studies in the UK. And just like I said, everything I wrote in my essay, I actually achieved them, because when I got to the UK, I was a social media ambassador, and because of these engagements, I was central within activities for scholars and working hand in hand with the Chevening Secretariat. So this is how you can show your potential of how you want to of course, selling yourself, and which is basically just saying when you doing your studies, you want to engage with the overall Chevening community. You want to be the one to organize activities. You want to be central in many activities. And of course, as alumni, when you come back, for example, I told in my essays and the panelists, I want to engage with the Cameroon Chevening Alumni Association. I see that they are doing amazing work in health and so many other fields. I want to be part of what these amazing people are doing in Cameroon. And when I got back to Cameroon, of course, I was really engaged with the alumni community, and of course did so many contributions to the activities, and also the overall Chevening alumni community. So I back to the question. I believe that you can stay authentic by just sharing genuine examples of how you were able to build your networks. Is it that you were taking part in the health campaign, for example, you were able to connect doctors, bring doctors together, creating a WhatsApp group, LinkedIn, sending emails. These are aspects of networking the panelists or the reading committee want to see. And you tell them that even when you go to the UK, you want to engage with meet professionals, for example, you attend, I think the Secretariat will organize 65 plus events. You want to network with professionals in your field and also sell yourself. For example, what are you bringing to the Chevening community? So it's also an opportunity to also sell what you have, but in the same time staying authentic in your essays. Thank you.
Tell yourself, but remember to stay authentic. This question, Felix Omenga, you are the right person to answer this question before you go. We are in a technology age, and the AI is rapidly gaining ground. What are the dangers of using AI in preparing scholarship essays, and how can these pitfalls be avoided? Just 2 minutes, please.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Mickey. So let me say that the Secretariat, they use AI advanced softwares to detect AI. So you have to be very careful that what you write is original. Yes, because when you submit your applications, it's also part of the checks which they do after the closing of the application. So it's very important that you want to write what is original, because even before the reading committee in the UK will assess the essays, it goes through this check to see that your essay met was eligible, for example, to be reviewed. So even yes, so even if you use maybe an AI to write your application and then it gets flagged, the assessors will not even reach the committee that assesses the applications. And even if you manage to write what is not original, for example, you come back to to the interview and you still have to defend what you wrote. So it's very important that you write, you be original in what you write, and yes, avoid using third-party writing tools, AI.
Yes.
And let me also add that they can use, for example, I use softwares like Grammarly, for example. It's okay to use a software like Grammarly, for example, to check the grammar of your what you wrote, but also let me also add that also for another tip. I recommend that you write your essays in a Word document. You write your essays in a Word document, because you will want to make continuous edits, changes on your application. And with a Word document, of course, you refine every day, and once you have the final copy, and then you can just copy to paste to the Chevening
Fine.
application.
Absolutely. Key message here: stay original. They ensure that the originality, because this does not only end with your applications. When you finally be given a scholarship, one thing about the UK system is you hardly sit in exams in a typical examination condition. It's about essays. It's about trying to track your originality. Now, Kecha, let me come back to you. There is a very close relationship between your social media handles and the stories you tell in your application. Can you take 2 minutes to help these participants on how to balance their essays and what their social media handles actually says? Facebook, X account, LinkedIn, does it have an impact?
Hi, Mickey. Yeah, thank you once again. Yeah, it really has an impact because right now we are in a world where nobody can really go into hiding unless you want to say you're totally disconnected, that you don't say anything, you don't put anything, you don't sell yourself out there. But in one way or the other, if someone comes to your social media platform, any one of them, they will tell if what you are doing really aligns in one way or the other with what you say you're doing. It shows. Maybe you might not be very active on one platform, but there should be one where they will know from comments, even if you're not posting, from comments, they will look at how you interact and the things you say. What are the comments you're putting? What are you fighting for? If you say you're against gender-based violence, and then there is a post where this act has been committed, and then now you're instead rather shaming the victim, how does that align who you really say you are? For instance, let's look at Felix here. Felix is a perfect example, perfect one. He has put in a lot of work. We should learn from him. He is intentional with everything he posts and everything he says. Felix does not need a CV. He does not need any recommendation. Once you go to his social media platform, you will see that this is what he says and this is who he actually is. You can see everything there. So we really have to be careful because nowadays it reflects who you are. It does reflect who you are.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Kecha. I asked this question because I want potential applicants to be fully aware. The moment you submit your application, there will always be notification who has viewed your profile, especially LinkedIn, who has come on your X account, who has been able to look at what is happening on your Facebook page, and so on and so on. When you start getting such appearances, know that there is something that is a signal which can either be a positive one or a negative one towards your Commonwealth and your Chevening scholarship and any other scholarship that you'll be applying for. One, ensure the kind of people who are following you and the kind of people you are following, they have an impact on your application. The kind of things you are posting, because you can't, that's why we say you need to be authentic. You can't tell lies in your application because there are different ways these guys are going to turn around to evaluate, to ascertain if this is the right candidate to invest thousands of pounds on. Ladies and gentlemen, for you to do a 1-year master's in the UK is going to cost the equivalence of over 30 million francs or so, just for a master's degree program. For you to go through a PhD program, mine run. In fact, I think if I put everything together, should be above 100 million francs CFA, the equivalent to do a PhD. So why should they invest this money on you? There should be a reason why we should put this money on you. I'm about to transition to Dr. Iya now. Hello, Dr. Iya Maliki. Thank you so much for waiting, my good friend.
Good evening, Dr. Mickey.
Remember the first day we have been interacting for as long as possible, but we've never met until you came visiting my institution, the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine. It was an honor to meet this gentleman. And I call him the kind of heavyweight in scholarship applications. He had the Commonwealth Master Scholarship. He had the Commonwealth PhD Scholarship. He's just the right person to talk to us this evening. Dr. Iya, how did you strategically position yourself to win the Commonwealth Master Scholarship first and then the Commonwealth PhD Scholarship? Tell us that secret.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mickey. I am happy to be invited here to discuss with you about scholarship application and to give to our audience some useful tips how to make strong application for the Commonwealth Scholarship. Thank you so much. Before I jump to your
just for the record, for the participants, Dr. Iya's first language is not English. This is someone who comes from with French-speaking background and has transitioned. I want to use this one as a motivation to our French speakers to say it's not a barrier. You can make it. You can transition. Dr. Iya, over to you.
Thank you so much. Now back to your questions. Before I jump to your question, let me tell to our audience who aspire to apply for a scholarship that the scholarship is an investment on them. Investment is committing money now with the expectation that you will earn more in the future. For example, let's say you invest in your money in farming and you expect to earn more during harvest season, right? Otherwise, it is not necessary to invest your money in farming. So
absolutely,
it is exactly the same thing with scholarship application. They are investing money on you to get high quality education in the UK. You can't afford on your own. So that at the end of your program, they expect you to go back to improve the people's lives back home throughout your career. You must put that in your mind first. I start with the idea of investment on you now and expecting something in near future. So this idea is you must put it in your mind. I think if you put this idea in your mind, you will have at least 50% of chance to win the scholarship. The remaining 50% is up to you to put that into practice in your application by developing your ideas further. Now back to your questions. How I position myself to win the Commonwealth Scholarship. The idea of investment and then later giving back to the community was in my mind. The first thing I did, I searched on Commonwealth Scholarship. I read a lot I understand how their value and how to apply, how to make strong application, and I understand their selection criteria and what they are looking for in SS with the required documents that I will need to submit along my application. After knowing all these informations, the next step that I took, I tailor my application to align with their goals I just discussed. So their value, their selection criteria. The CSC website provides more information on the selection criteria and how to complete an application form. I made full use of the resource online on their website preparing my application. Dr. Mickey, your chance of winning scholarship is very slim if an applicant does not follow instructions. Not knowing the kind of application they are looking for and they are on their website and failing to follow instruction will disadvantage you. Trust me, you have to go through their website, try to see what they are looking for on your application and which documents you will need. It is therefore essential that applicants read of the instruction carefully before starting the application, and then complete all of the questions fully and provide all supporting documentation. It is very, very important.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ian. Positioning yourself, positionality, that is how we call it, especially with those who are engaging in research work in the UK. The word positionality and reflexivity is top on the agenda. And it's really about positioning yourself to say, how do I meet the standards? Do I fit into this picture? Dr. Ian just let us understand exactly how he positioned himself to be able to earn both the Commonwealth Master's Scholarship and the Commonwealth PhD Scholarship. Dr. Iya, coming back to you. Looking back, what specific elements in your application from the personal statement, development impact, references, research plan, what specific elements in each of these made you stand out and why? If you can take just one each in each of them, that would be good. Personal statement, development impact, references, your research plan.
Oh, I will say that each of these elements you mentioned, personal statement, development impact, references, your research plan, all of them are important, and they were treated equally when I providing my answer for the Commonwealth Scholarship application. In my personal statement, for example, I share my unique story, my passions, and how the scholarship will help my goals. And I tailor it to their value. The development impact statement is where I was asked to discuss how my future plan will contribute to the development of my country, communities at large back home, and how it connects to one of the 6 development themes of the CSE.
Absolutely.
All of these questions, you need to fully complete them. This means that each question that I tackled when I was applying, I consider it as one of the most important questions. I provided answer to each question with the same effort, and I did in the previous questions the same thing, and I will do the same thing in the next questions. By doing this, you will see that all questions will be asked and you will be addressed with the same attention and effort to all your questions by providing good answer to all your questions. So my advice to applicant is not to consider some questions more important than others or some questions less important than others, like personal statement or development impact. Treat them equally and make one of the most strongest application. Answer to each questions. Make sure that you address each questions and each part of the essays. It is very important.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you, Dr. Iya. I think I want to drill down. I want to drill down to people who are listening and they are interested in the PhD application. How did you identify and secure a UK supervisor who aligned with your research? Because I know getting a PhD supervisor as part of the application process is an uphill task. Tell us.
Yes.
How did you identify one?
For PhD applicant, identifying supervisor is, I think, the most challenging. It is difficult, but not very, very difficult. The first thing that I did is I drafted my research proposal. After drafting my research proposal, I went through the university websites in the department that my research proposal aligned with. I tried to look at the staff, the profile of their staff, and through their publications and their research being carried out in the UK and globally, you can know that this guy, his research area aligned with my proposal. So once you find somebody who may be interested in your research area with your proposal, you just drop them an email with your proposal in attached and also your CV.
1 minute. You drop them an email.
Exactly.
Drop them an email. Please drop them an email. I'm repeating 3 times because there is something very important about the email. Some people send emails without a subject. Some people carry the entire message and write at the level of the subject area.
Exactly.
Some people write with funny emails, email addresses, fiango@yahoo.com. Nobody knows who is your name, Fiango. So please, I want to pause here to say this is very important. If you don't have an email that carries your names as some of the initials in the email, create a new one.
Very, very important, Doctor.
And learn how to send a professional emails, a professional email to the potential supervisor. Please, these are not things we want to joke about. Some people, just from your email, you'll be rejected.
That's true.
Just from the kind of email you send across, you can be rejected. Dr. Iya, over to you.
Okay. Once you have identified somebody who is interested in your research area, with your proposal that you have already drafted, just email them. Don't copy your proposal and paste it in your email. It is not important. Just attach your proposal and your CV, telling them that you are interested to do a PhD under his or her supervisions, and that you are planning to apply for scholarship through Commonwealth. And do it in many universities. Try to look for supervisor in many universities. Don't just focus in one university.
Absolutely.
Very, very important. Try to see
Yes.
others potential supervisor in different universities and reach out to them by email with your CV and your proposal. I'm sure
Thank you.
a few of them will get back to you. And with time, maybe if they are interested, you can develop your proposal according to their capacity of supervision. They may help you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Improve your proposal. They may help you.
Absolutely. While we are getting closer to the end of our session, I will create time for real interaction. My fellow panelists, please, if you do have anything very important, you can use the chat section and drop some vital information that you think our potential applicants can get. It will be very, very important. I've just seen from Eric Junior Bomzele, he said, if you have research publications or policy briefs in the potential supervisor's thematic area, please highlight them alongside your research proposal. This is very important. They're going to be taking you very serious. You can also cite their work that has been published already in your proposal, which is very important, or even when you are doing some publications way before time. Thank you, Eric Bomzele. I'm getting now to the point where I want to ask the last question to Iya before we go to the breakout rooms. Dr. Iya, what was the most difficult part of the application process, be it for the Commonwealth or the PhD? What was the most difficult part of the application process, and how did you overcome that?
Okay, the most difficult part of the application process for me was preparing my essay and filling the online application form to not miss the deadline within 6 weeks. Usually the application windows for the Commonwealth Scholarship open just for 6 weeks period. So you have to rush, you have to manage your time to write everything, your essays, getting admission from your universities if your nominating agency requires it, and maybe identifying supervisor if you are applying for a PhD. For a PhD, you must have identified supervisor before you apply for a scholarship. Otherwise, even if you submit application, your nominating agency may not nominate you, and even if they nominate you, if they nominate you, Commonwealth Scholarship will not consider your application. They will not read it. Having supervisor giving you a statement of support from your supervisor is a must for PhD applicants.
Thank you so much, Dr. Iya. I'm going to send people now into breakout rooms. The essence of the breakout rooms is for us to interact. We are 92 in the call. I'm going to put us into, I don't want groups to be too big. I'm going to go for 9 breakout rooms. Interact. Oh, sorry. Do we still have Felix in the call?
Yes, Dr. Mickey, yes.
Do we still have Eric in the call?
Yes, doctor.
Do we have Kecha?
Yes, I'm here, Dr. Mickey.
Okay, so I'm going to put it into 5 breakout rooms so that I will position you all in the different breakout rooms for interaction with our participants. I'm going to assign, okay, room 1, go to, okay, Charles, you are in the call. I've noted you are in the call. Thank you. I know I'll position you in one of the rooms. So please accept the room that you have been given. Just accept. When you get in, please ensure you put on your camera. Please join a room, join a room. If I don't find you joining a room, I'm just going to evict you because other people are waiting to join. Eposi Haddison, Samsung GM, please, you haven't joined.
I don't know if you know, better thing.
Okay, perfect. So this is room 1. Who do we have here to work with you people? Charles. Hello, Charles.
Session. I think this is the third session we have with Dr. Mickey, which I've had an idea of what I should bring out in my leadership essay, in that of my career plan. But now the issue is turning it down. And one of the things you mentioned was that unlike previous years where we wrote 500 words per essay, I think this year it has gone down to 300 words. So trying to squeeze everything down to 300 words, but still remaining relevant is where I have an issue.
Okay. Thank you, Charles. I just want to be sure that you are the captain of room 1. Thank you so much. I will leave the room now to you. Thanks.
Thank you, Mickey. So yeah, your question, sometimes people rather have difficulties to even write up to 500 words.
Maybe you may wish to throw more light on the open dreams stuff, please.
Hello, can I say something? Good evening, everyone.
Yes.
Yes,
yes, I'm a facilitator and mentor at Open Dreams regarding the Open Dreams criteria of eligibility to be nominated. You need to be an active member and something like at least 1 year, but it depends. It depends if you're very active and engaged in various activities, they can still nominate you. Because when they are nominated participants or members, for example, through Alice Access, they will always go and check it on social media. Are you featuring in the various social media platform? So they check about that. So it just simply, you go to the website, you fill the form, and you start engaging in various activities, whether it's physically or through social media or just networking.
Good evening, Kecha.
Good evening. Good evening, sir. What's your name, please?
And good evening to Peter. It's Sanji Jones.
Okay, Jones. Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you. I just wish to find out for PhD scholarships, or to obtain the PhD scholarships. I think if I got it exactly, you need a nominating agency, and you also need a supervisor from the school. Am I right?
Yes, I think I should jump in to respond to that. Okay, Dr. Ia, I'm happy you are here. Thanks. Take over, please.
For the Commonwealth PhD application, you must identify supervisor before you submit your application. It is very, very important that you identify supervisor first, because you will need to ask your supervisor to provide you a supporting statement that you will submit alongside the application. So it is a must that you have this letter from your supervisor if the supervisor agrees to supervise you.
Okay, my challenge was to find out if
He doesn't like.
Is there anybody to support this group?
Not yet. I think we're still waiting for someone to support the group.
Okay, I'm right here. I'm very comfortable now. The other groups, they have support. So it's a moment to interrupt. Please feel free to put on your camera, love to put the face behind the names. And then any specific question you need some clarity, this is the time for us to interact.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much. So can I go first? I don't know. I have a question.
Yes, please. Yes. Carry on.
Okay, hello everybody. My name is Linda Rose, and I'm aspiring to apply for the Commonwealth PhD scholarship. Now, I noticed that with certain UK universities, they have already drafted projects, research projects. So I don't know if how to get on one of those for the Commonwealth scholarship, or do we necessarily have to write our own proposal for the scholarship? So I think that's my question. If yes, how do we get onto one of those research projects and then before applying for the scholarship? Thank you.
Okay, just a straightforward answer. Commonwealth will not finance you to get into another person's project within the university. That is not. However, universities do advertise PhD positions within a certain time frame across departments. You can apply directly to the department or to the school, to the faculty, and once you get admitted under that project, then you don't need the Commonwealth, you don't need any other scholarship. The department or the school automatically gives you a scholarship. So that one becomes a university scholarship for you, not the Commonwealth. With the Commonwealth, you need to go with your own proposal. Look for a supervisor that has a link to what you want to research on. So you become more independent with what you want to do with the Commonwealth PhD scholarship than the university scholarship. University scholarship, again, the distinction is you fit into an already designed project. You apply to be a part of the research team. Once given the opportunity, they will ask you to come in and become a PhD student under that project, and that one becomes a university scholarship to Linda. With the Commonwealth, draft your proposal, look for potential supervisors, woo them to love your research, and then get your admission, and that will be how that is the process. Did I give you an answer?
Yes, very clear. Thank you very much.
Okay. Any other, please?
No, good evening.
Good evening, Kim.
Good evening to everyone on the call. I just wanted to ask concerning the references. I got said I should draft something I sent to him. I drafted, then I gave someone to look at it before I sent to him. And that person says I'm not supposed to mention the name of the university since it's addressed to the Chevening Selection Committee. Because in my understanding, I was thinking somewhere in the reference, maybe I mention like applying to this. But the person says I'm not supposed to mention any of that since the committee reserves the right to give me any university they want to among my 3 choices. So I don't know, because I was thinking I could go with my first choice on that recommendation letter.
Straightforward answer to your question is either you mention all the 3 universities and their programs in your reference letter, or you don't mention any.
Okay.
Chevening and the Commonwealth, they will generally ask you to choose your first choice, second choice, and third choice university. It is absolutely rewarding to establish a connection in the reference letter to all the universities, because all your choice universities will be interrelated.
Exactly.
You are choosing University A because they offer a degree, a master's program in development communication. You're choosing university number 2 because they offer a course on a master's in development, peace building, and development finance. But there is a connection across all the 3 universities that you're choosing. So either choose to mention all the 3 universities in the reference letter, or don't mention only one.
Okay.
Why the person who told you that is because at the end of it all, when you are given the Chevening provisional award letter, they will go and select any of the 3 universities and say, this is the one we want you to go to.
Okay.
So there is a very low chance that you will be given your first choice university. Your first choice university may bring some other conditions that Chevening will not be able to fulfill. Remember, universities in the UK charge very high. If your first choice university is going to cost Chevening £19,000 for the entire master's, and your third choice university is offering the same program for £17,000, Chevening, for cost benefit purposes, will go for the £17,000 because you will still get the same value, but at a much more lower cost, because they want to invest in more scholars. So again, that brings me to a critical point. When you are choosing your university for the Chevening scholarship, please go to the course finder. If you don't see a university with a tick as a partner, Chevening partner university, do not choose that university. Though you will have a whole lot of universities in the portal, choose only universities with a tick. It means those are universities that have an agreement with the Chevening Secretariat.
Now, one more question, please, if you permit.
Yes, please.
I wish to ask if it's okay for me to apply to same universities for Chevening and same universities for Commonwealth.
Again, look up which are the priority universities. Commonwealth is pretty open, but Chevening is restrictive. So it's possible you can apply for the same university for Chevening, which is eligible for Chevening, and use the same offer letter for Commonwealth. So there is no barrier for that.
Okay.
Like I said, Commonwealth is open. Chevening limits you to only their partner universities.
Okay, though. Thank you very much.
Also, if you see a university that offers 2 programs, you can apply to the 2 programs, but I want to assure you, most universities will not give you because they collaborate, they cooperate within the university. So the chances are very low that you can have 2 admissions from the same university because they want to maximize chances. So what I will be advising, apply to as many universities as possible. One thing I'm going to be rounding up in the session is how to manage rejections, because you will be rejected by some of these universities. Any other question?
Yes, sir. I just want to find out, do we apply first before, like, do we apply and draft the proposal simultaneously, or we must have a proposal at hand before even considering applying to the university?
I think it will do you good to have your proposal ready, because it's really the starting point. That's what it will tell you what kind of supervisor you are looking for. That's what will tell you what kind of university you want to pursue. So please have your proposal handy. Develop your proposal first. I want to be very categorical here. If you've not done the basic foundational as a tax, especially for PhD, I will advise that you use this opportunity to prepare for the next season, because a lot goes in looking for the supervisor, ascertaining that you secure admission in the university is a little bit complex than just going for the master's level programs. So if you're going in, you are here for the PhD program, and a lot more hasn't been done. Use this as an opportunity. Be in connection with the guys you have seen. Let them start guiding you at this moment, because I tell people, take Commonwealth Masters and Commonwealth PhD or Chevening as a project with a timeline. Work it out. Success is very important. So that's just to tell you again, Linda Rose, that you should try as much as possible to have your proposal beforehand. Okay.
About the information.
Yes, you'll find the number on this.
Hi, Felix, I'm here.
Yes, Dr. Mickey. So following this breakout session, I just want to ask if we are returning to the main.
Yes, I'm sending everyone in under 2 minutes.
Okay, wonderful. Because I've been able to answer the questions and engagements, and I feel that we can go back to the. Yes. Okay. Thank you.
I can't see you.
Me too. I can't see the number.
Yeah, the information. He said he dropped it already.
Yeah, you cannot see the information because I've already sent people back to the main platform. I will request him to repeat. Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Trying to looking for.
Is this the main room?
No, it's a parlor.
Guys, we are returning to the main room.
This is the palace.
This is the parlor.
We are returning to the main room in seconds.
I think this is the main room already, because there was a notification to return to the main room. This is the main room.
I'm wondering whether they're taking me to the parlor or to.
Yeah, there are so many people who are lost in the corridor. Can you turn on the light for them to find their way back?
Yeah, no, but it's supposed to automatically bring them in 10 seconds.
Yes, I think they'll be joining any moment from now.
Yes.
Welcome, Charles.
Okay, finally everyone is back.
The first thing is hello. Oh, we're still in our session.
No, I think this is the main room. This is the main room. We are back in the main room. Anyone who is in the parlor or in the corridor, find yourself to the main room. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Thank you to my co-facilitators. Thank you, Kecha. Thank you, Bonzele. Thank you, Felix Fomengia. Thank you, Femshan Charles, and a whole lot of people that have been able to support this evening's session. Felix, please, there was something you dropped in the chat box in your breakout room. Can you drop that again? Because it seems I interrupted that. Thank you, Ia Malika, for being a part. Now, I want all my panelists to be on camera, please. There is a common question I want to ask. Very common question I want to ask. Please, if you can be on camera, I'll just like that. Okay. Applying for a university admission, applying for the Chevening scholarship, applying to the Commonwealth scholarship. let me begin with university admission. It's not a free ride. You're definitely going to get rejected. Some universities wouldn't just at a go give you an admission. So the advice has always been for you to do something to be on a safe side. My co-panelists, what should our potential applicants do to be on a safe side in securing admissions?
Yes, Dr. Miki, maybe if I can start for that question.
Yes, please.
I think I always recommend that you start your application early, because I think for my Chevening journey, I remember when I submit my application Chevening around let's say ending October, for example, immediately I start applying to my schools. Don't wait when you are shortlisted before you already know your school. So don't wait when you are shortlisted before you start applying to those schools. So start very early, because when you get an early admission and then you have a condition, for example, to submit English language proficiency or any other to meet the unconditional offer, you have the enough time, for example, to engage with your university and then to secure your offer. I think that this is what actually was my secret. And even before going to the interview, I already had all my offers to say. So start early. Once you submit your application ending October, just shoot for all your 3 schools and then you just wait for their outcome.
Okay, thank you, Felix. I think Dr. Iya quickly will agree with me. I will not even wait until I submit my Chevening application before I start firing into the universities. But if you have the strength, please, why not handle that concurrently, because it's very important. Dr. Iya, over to you.
Okay, what I will say is that it's always better to start your application while applying for scholarship. It is very, very important. In case that you are rejected to your first choice university, you may get admitted to their second choice university. And also, sometimes do not just look at high ranking universities like Oxford, Cambridge. They receive many applications. Try to see other universities like, I don't know, the top 100 or 150. You try to mix, try to balance, even if you like high ranking university and the second choice may be another university, top 100 or maybe top 150. So try to balance, try to mix all these universities when you submit your application. In case that the university that you want, for example, Oxford, Imperial College, the University College London, reject you, still have
because some will reject you.
That's sure they will reject you. They will reject you. I remember when I applied for a scholarship, for the first time I applied to UK university, I was rejected by the first 3 universities I submitted my application. I was disappointed, honestly, but I never give up. I always continue until I get one. So I advise you, you will be rejected for sure, and never give up. Try to mix, try to balance.
Thank you, Dr. Iya. Kecha, let me come to you and then I flip over to Charles.
Okay.
I'm handling this issue of rejection because it's real, and I want to start administering my anesthesia so that people, when you go unconscious because of rejection, would know how to resuscitate you. Kecha, over to you.
Yeah, Mickey, Felix and Iya, they already said it. And I wanted to just add to it that sometimes the rejections are due to our own carelessness and maybe delay in doing things. Rejections are very real. Like Iya said, don't just go for top universities. You want to go for Oxford. Go into their application portals. Look at the eligibility criteria, what they want. Because just a mere passport, they might want you to send your passport and you've not yet done your passport, or maybe your passport has to expire, and then they will send you a conditional, because we have conditional offer and unconditional. The conditional is the one they will ask you to provide something, and maybe now you'll be hurrying at the end to give this thing and you will not be able to have it. They will reject you. Yes, they will reject you at the end. So make sure you have everything in place. If they are asking for English language proficiency and you see that there are other universities that are going to accept you without this proficiency test, so you should already know, go for these other universities so that they don't come and say, we want you to write it, and then you don't write it. They reject you. They'll reject you. And then you don't have time anymore to go and write. And then
Okay,
that's how
let
rejection
me just
comes.
give the warning that
Yes.
you cannot run away from the IELTS test exams.
Yes.
It is a UKVI requirement.
Yes.
It is a UK border requirement. So if the university liberates you because you studied in Nigeria and they say they don't want you to write the IELTS, know that the border, the UKVI will be trapping you, waiting for you to show that you have passed this English language examination. My warning is, do not neglect those things you are supposed to do
Exactly.
now.
Yes. Laws
One,
have changed. Yeah.
get your English exams booked in early. Preparation means opportunity. So get ready with all of those things. But before I come back to Dr. Ia, who wants to come in, let me touch down with Charles Mwanzi. Hi, Charles.
Hello, Mickey.
Yes, please.
Okay, maybe you want to. Anyway, let me turn on my video.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
Mwamzi.
Mickey. So I just laugh, Mickey, because of
before Charles says, I just want to say Charles Mwanzi is a very good friend and and is a very senior mentee. Charles studied at one of the most prestigious schools within the University of Reading. They call it Henley Business School. So for those into business, entrepreneurship, and so on, that is the guru. And Charles, over to you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Mickey. So talking about the university application, I used to remember that before the announcement of any scholarship, if you ask Iya, I think Iya has been in my era, we'll have over 30 admission letters already. And we'll have a meeting to ponder on which to select as our first, second, or third choice. So they always say when you are ambitious, without action, it leads to anxiety. Yes. So it's always good to find yourself in a problem of choice than scarcity. Yes, because at least at that point, you can be able to choose among several things based on maybe the location, where you have your family members, where you have your friends, instead of finding yourself being dumped in one very cool area in the UK because you had no choice. So my very first advice is for you to start applying earlier enough, because even these universities used to have departmental scholarships, of which they always end up considering those who had early offers. So if you can start applying for your admission letters first, know that you can even secure a scholarship in your department even before the Chevening scholarship or the Commonwealth scholarship results, of which, if it turns out to be negative, at least you've increased your scope of opportunities. Thank you.
Absolutely, Charles. Thank you very much. This is exactly what I wanted to pin down on. This is a little bit of a secret. Please don't say you heard it from Mickey, but take it very seriously. When you apply to your universities early enough alongside the Chevening and the Commonwealth, feature the updates in your application. As part of this scholarship application, I have already been granted a conditional offer to University A, B, C. University A, I've already had interaction with a potential supervisor who has already validated my research area. Evidenced by you maybe just take off an email communication from you and supervisor. that makes a difference in your application completely. Remember, when you are nominated for Chevening or Commonwealth, 3 people are competing for one spot. 3 people are competing for one spot. So there is no way they are going to give up on somebody who has already gained admission as evidence in the application to someone who has not even shown evidence of engaging with universities. So there is always a logic to kickstart your application alongside the scholarship application itself. I don't know if somebody is listening. But when you listen, don't say you heard it from Mickey. Just keep it. Don't tell somebody. Use that secret and navigate yourself, because that is the way to go. Next thing, I want to, Dr. Ia, maybe you come in before I skip to the next thing.
Okay, what I would like to add on what you just said is that it is very important, and you are right what you said. You have to apply as soon as possible. You have to submit your application as soon as possible. Some scholarship, like even Commonwealth Scholarship, the one that we call Share Scholarship, Commonwealth Share Scholarship, not made through the nominating agency in your home country or NGO. Your university will nominate you. So this Commonwealth Scholarship, they call Commonwealth Share Scholarship, usually they prefer someone who already has an offer of admission from these universities with unconditional offer before they nominate them. So it is very, very important that you submit your application for admission to the university as soon as possible. Another thing that I want to add is sometimes, when you apply for admission to the university, it is good to see high-ranking universities like Oxford, LSE, and most of these universities, I know LSE, for example, London School of Economics, they give statistics in their previous application. If you go there for your selected program, just open the page of the university. Try to see the statistics. Last year, how many applications they received and how many people were accepted. I know LSE, London School of Economic and Political Science, does it. I also know Oxford, University of Oxford. So it is also important that you go there on their website and try to check the information available.
Perfect.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mickey. Over to
you. I have dropped my, whether I'm pretty new on Facebook or something like that. Look for Mickey on Facebook. Look for Mickey. I've dropped my X account, my LinkedIn page. Co-panelists, please drop your social media handles so our good friends can follow. They can ask some questions, more personal, and so on. Please just drop your handles so they can pick that up. I'll be getting closer to something very important, and I want to speak on this very briefly. Managing referees. References are very important in your application. When you are choosing a referee, please ensure you are choosing someone who can say something positively, whose wordings can be so impactful, positively impacting on your application. Next thing, please make sure that you keep good relationships with your potential referees. Some of you, I don't know, you will be knocking at people's doors that for the past 1 year, you have not been in touch with those people. It's not a good signal. Cultivate relationship. Let it be ongoing. The people you are asking references from should be people you are constantly in touch with them. They can say something unique about you. I will tell you the honest truth here. There are some of the people in Cameroon who work with me through Community Vision Group. If they ask for me a reference, even if I wake up at night, I'm going to say something so powerful about them. Because I know I've worked with them, I've been able to see what they do, they update me on what they are doing, and so on and so forth. Please keep a formidable relationship with your referees. Update them. If they have birthdays and you know their birthdays, send out birthday greetings and sweet messages to them. And just keep in touch. These are the people that, irrespective of how strong your application may be, these are people that they can let you down with just a simple, very rough reference letter. Next thing I want to say, when you are choosing a referee, make sure that you are choosing a referee who is so versed with the internet, who has an email address that he or she checks often. Because we've had situations where some scholars miss out on this opportunity because they sent a request for a reference letter and it remained in their inbox. Nobody cares to check. Please make sure that this is your responsibility to stay in touch with them and to ensure that they are up to date with what you are doing. Otherwise, I will now invite our panelists with one word for you tonight. I'll begin from Felix. Just one word. What is that one thing you want these participants to take away from you?
Yes, thank you, Dr. Mickey. Let me say that if you fail, don't give up, because it took me 2 years to get the Chevening scholarship. After the first year, I think was 2021, after reaching the interview and then being rejected. So, but never give up. You will get rejection from your schools, and even you get for the Chevening scholarship. Keep building your applications and see how you come back prepared for the following application cycle. And of course, the year I was selected was actually it became history. So never give up in your scholarship journeys.
Never give up. The strength of a man, the strength of a woman is measured not in the how many times he or she falls, but how you get up from the ground after falling. Don't give up. Rejection is redirection. If you are rejected from University A, you have just been redirected to University B. Don't give up. That's the key word from Felix. Thank you, Felix. Hello, Ia.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Mickey. I would say that I advise to applicant to prepare everything in advance. It is very, very important to prepare everything in advance, your essays, your applications, certifying your documents and admission application to the university. It is very, very important, and never give up. That's all.
Never give up. Prepare your application, submit well in advance. And this is just to connect with ER to say, when it is 1 week to the deadline, there is traffic. The system likely crashes.
Exactly.
And if you wait till the last minute, you will be faced with the problem of the traffic. You might not even submit your application.
That's true.
Please, word of caution from us to you, submit your application well in time. Hello.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes. My advice would be for you to be very intentional and strategic. And it starts with a change in mindset. When I talk of change in mindset, meaning that there is no connection in this thing. Like people will say réseau and whatsoever, there is no connection. You need to be intentional and strategic, meaning when I talk of change in mindset, do not say, oh, I know that petit friend, or I be there upper city day from one. Me, he mentor me, he decrease. No. Meaning that there are people who have made it, who are 10, 15, 20 years younger than you, which you need to change your mindset by being humble, humility, and intentional. So the change in mindset is a key factor. Be strategic and intentional. I wouldn't want to go further into that, but he who knows, know.
I think Charles Mwanze is one of the most humble person I've ever met. I remember as a mentor, mentoring a senior person, and sometimes when I become very harsh in my tone, I have to fall back and say, hey, This one a grandfather, although you mentor you. But it's a sense of humility. It's someone I've seen who knows what he or she wants. A chance, I give it to you. You knew exactly what you wanted. And I want to tell the people here listening that the two of your mentors are your junior brothers.
Exactly.
Two of your mentors are people who are far below you by age. But he was down there, down to earth, to listen to the kind of things that Mika Edwin will say, to the kind of things that Mickey will say. It was just so, that's an attribute I want you to carry. Look, if Felix Fomengia is far younger as you look at him now, please focus on what you can get from him. It's very important. Now, Kecha.
Yes, Mickey.
One word from you.
Okay, so I just want to say that believe in yourself and stay grounded. Believe in the sense that I tried this, I did it for my first time, and I made it just from a classroom in a rural area. I made it. And staying grounded, you are just getting started. It will break you. It's one step to the other. So you have to stay on your feet. Don't be shaken. It's from one thing to the other. From the application, you're going to another. There are just so many things. So you have to stay grounded.
Believe in yourself and stay grounded. Thank you very much. Bonzele?
All right. Thanks to everyone for taking part in this session. So I just want to say every leader is unique in his or her own style, and that you should believe in your story and the future impact you can create for Chevening 6 leaders who are ready to create positive change. So be authentic, demonstrate your vision clearly, and let your passion shine through every part of your application. And good luck to all of you.
Good luck indeed. Good luck indeed. Thank you, Bonzele. We're coming to the end of our session. It's been a long one. Mickey is pretty exhausted at the moment. I just want to say we do have real excellent after mentorship services. If you do want us to review your essay, we've tried just to make sure that we are keeping the right people as serious people in the process. We've started adding some value to the services we offer. Yeah, we don't get paid for doing what we're doing, but if you do want a real specialist touch in reviewing your essays, accompanying you in drafting, in chasing up admission with the universities, please do feel free. We have a very dedicated team backstage that will give you that service at a very expedited level. I will accept 2 questions. I will accept 2 questions. Let me go to Henry. Please go straight to the point because we are late.
Good evening, sir. I want to thank you for this webinar. So I'm really grateful. So my question is, there was something you outlined earlier on the logics on and tips on how to win the Chevening. You say that we should mention that we have gotten conditional admission in some universities. So my question here, where are we going to write those things down?
The universities are all open. If you go to the Chevening website, you definitely go to the Chevening website itself. You're going to see the list of universities that have already signed up agreement for the 2025-2026 academic year. Go and apply to those universities. That's where you find the universities. If you don't have any challenges, please hook up with any of the panelists and we'll be able to direct you at that point.
I think his question was rather, where are you going to mention that in the essay? So,
no, yes. If that is the question, there is a stage where you talk about the choice of university courses. I didn't expect that to be a question though, because if you familiarize yourself with the application portal, there is a stage where they talk about choosing the universities, university choice. Are we okay? Henry?
Yes, I'm with you.
Yes, please. If you do have any challenge, please hook up with whoever is going to be supporting you. Let me take the second and the last question. Okay, Arabelle. Hi, Arabelle.
Yes, Mickey, thank you so much. That was just so insightful. I asked a question in our breakup group, but the person here was signed out immediately. I'm sure he clicked on the button and he was signed out. So it's at the level of the Commonwealth split side scholarship. We have this problem in Cameroon right now, where for 3 years now the Commonwealth, the PhD has been suspended. And for the Commonwealth split side scholarship, you have to be registered at your home country. That's the university in your home country, have approval, because it's like they are the ones even send your nomination. How do we go about that? Or it's just like we should just forget about the Commonwealth split side scholarship? Thank you.
Okay, the good news is I just received a circular today that the Commission on Higher Education is restoring, they are soon going to restore that. So there is a circular that has just come out. So it's probably the split side PhD stuff is going to be resolved very soon, hopefully. I read the circular today. But is that what you are thinking of getting into?
Well, I'm just asking the question because given the fact that I am married, I have kids, and sometimes it's my difficult to go and spend the 3 years in the UK as a woman if your partner is not going. So, and the Commonwealth Split Side Scholarship gives you the possibility of going for 6 months, come back and go for the next 6 months.
I'm going to start interceding for you, for your husband to accept to accompany you to the UK. Okay. So, if you need any information, please go to the Commonwealth website. Somebody's asking how do we get to the Ministry of Higher Education for nomination. Nomination details are on the website. Just go to the website. You definitely have all the information. I want to encourage you, learn to dig at things for yourself. If only come to people with really hard to get information, things that you can easily get it just with a click, please do it yourself. Dr. I, can we have our discussion?
Thank you. Thank you. I just have one question. It's in two parts. The first one is regarding the leadership experience. For example, I'm someone in research areas, and I do have experience that are not related in the research areas. Does it mean that the experience, the leadership experience does not matter whether you are in that domain or not? That's the first one. The second thing is, my question is addressing to Mr. Felix, who is in the AI and digital landscape. Instead of being afraid by using AI, what do you think if we are learning how to use AI ethically and properly? Because in research, for example, we are allowed to use AI, but we are allowed to use AI ethically. So thank you.
Okay, I will reserve the second question to Felix Fomengia. But your first question, I don't know if any of the panelists can take that and give you a response. If you can feature leadership example, the experience that is not necessarily related to your research area. Any panelists to pick on that? Otherwise, can we begin with Felix on the second question? Okay, Ian, you're on.
I don't know much about this question is like Chevening scholarship application. I don't know much about Chevening scholarship application, how to go through it. I know Commonwealth.
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
So I will quickly come in to say, Dr. I, you can bring interrelated. There is no example that you cannot tilt it. That is why we say it's a story. Remember I talked about being a toilet prefect in Kasbambili. How is that related to international development? So it's about telling a story, making sure, because what Chevening is first of all interested is the leadership potential. It's your ability to take up responsibility to provide solutions to the overarching challenges facing the society, be it at the micro level, at the macro level, or at the meso level. So we want to see leadership coming out. Dr. I, we are connected on WhatsApp, so we can pick it up from there. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't mind, I just want people to put on their cameras because we want a group picture. This was a nice fireside meeting. Just put on your camera. We want to see people. Wow, wow, wow. Please, Tanko, please, camera on. Why are people hiding their faces? Okay. I'm taking now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Let me see. I hope it gets clearer. Just a minute, please. Let me be sure that we have. For those who are into development work,
You should reach out to me. I can see one Mr. Jones who has been a teacher to my daughter.
I'm getting the picture again. I'm taking a flip of please, Ngwasha, iPhone, Ajifak, Chila, Evelyn, Vikran, Kevin, Adi, Mary Lima, Sandy, please, we need to see your faces.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Please put on your camera. If your camera is not on, Piku.
My camera is on.
I'm picking it up now. If your face is not there, we won't be able to pick it up. This is actually used as an evidence, especially for those who are aspiring for the open dreams. If we are not able to locate the face, it might be difficult to say when you show up.
Yes.
Just one moment. Okay, I'm going to the next. Please stay with your camera on. 1, 2, 3. Okay. However, I know that some people have taken good photos more than myself. Do feel free to share with me so that the Open Dreams team will be able to put this up on their site. It's very important. And okay, and that is that from Mickey. I want to wish each and every one of you the very best as you carry on with your application. And I do hope that the next time we'll be meeting people who are asking us to prepare them for interview for Chevening. And those who will be meeting us to say, Mickey, my flight is scheduled on this day. Can you talk about how to arrive in the UK? Most of you will be arriving in winter. It will be very cool. We'll be able to advise which dress to put on, which airport to choose when you're signing up. What a beautiful moment. I want to think that today marks the beginning of a journey for some people in this call. Once again, a very big thank you for being a part of this session.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you. We appreciate
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.
Good luck, everyone.
Thank you so much. I do appreciate.
Thank you.
Good night. Good night.